Ladies and gentlemen, thank you for coming. Before we begin, I would like to start our session with a very quick photo. Let's take a very quick group photo together. Thank you. Thank you, our pro camera teams. Without further ado, let us welcome Ms. Amanda Liu, Managing Director of Startup Island Taiwan, to open this grand event. Let's give Amanda a round of applause.
Hello, everyone. Good morning. Actually, it's near the lunch time. I think everyone wants to have a very exciting days, and also we have this event quickly and have a lunch. So today we have so many distinguished speakers and share their thoughts with us. So I hope everyone can join our event. So I'm Amanda, the leaders of Startup Island Taiwan. Startup Island Taiwan project is the Taiwan National's entrepreneurs brand, supported by Taiwan National Development Council. So the brand says also want to support our startup to expand their market to the global. So SIT's core objective has been to assist individuals, business, and organizations to expand, to support the Taiwan's entrepreneur ecosystem to expand into global market. So especially we want to lowering our staff to go to the global markets barrier and increasing the success rates. So if we want to achieve this goal, the most crucial aspect is foreign connection with many different partners. So that's why I just force our teams, our colleagues, always just find the valuable partners all over the world. So regarding outbound project, most of our Taiwan's teams are exploring market opportunity in Japan and also the Southeast Asia. So maybe some teams also venture into the US market. Over the past several years, under the banners of the Startup Island Taiwan, we organized a Taiwan-Japan Startup Summit in Japan twice. So this year is the third time. I think we will reach more than 1,000 people will participate in our event. So welcome to join us in Tokyo this September. So there are so many different featuring summit, the demo pitch, and the investor match, and the corporate visits. So we welcome the staff, the teams to join us to be the Taiwan team, Taiwan One. We can go to Japan market. So we also happen to have a Taiwan Tech Day events in most Southeast countries like Thailand, Philippines, Vietnam, Indonesia, as well as the signing MOU with the ACE of Singapore to fostering the startup ecosystem each other. So actually, if you want to go to America, we also have a different project in layer. So to support our startup companies to develop their ambitions to do the market. So Taiwan, I think during the Computex, during these days, we feel the impact about the Jason Huang AI and NVIDIA and our Taiwan's supplier ecosystem. So I think take Island is famous now. So it's not that our hardware industry, we also want our software and the application industries can be the central of the global. So as stand proudly as noting the global innovation ecosystem, I think SIT's commitment is to support uplift entrepreneurs, not just for the businesses successfully, but to also want to transform life and the future to not just better, but extraordinary. So today's, I hope everyone have a nice day, and I'm looking forward to listening so many our respected speakers and other very, I think, wonderful panels today. So enjoy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Amanda. Startup Island Taiwan symbolizes a journey from a startup island to the international arena. We welcome all partners around the globe to connect with our innovation ecosystem. Up next, I would like to invite Mr. Alex Lee, CEO and founder of Quantum International Corp. Alex is a creative and passionate entrepreneur and CEO who founded QIC. At its core, QIC's ambition is to advise companies, founders, and global investors to maximize their shareholder values amidst a drastic transformation of businesses and capital markets in Asia. Let's welcome Alex onto the stage and give us an insightful speech of Taiwan's new economy. Enjoy.
Well, thank you, Amanda, and all of the friends and the audience here today. This is a great party. I'm not quite sure how many of you guys ever joined Jensen Huang's keynote last week. Anyone here? Great. Obviously, you are more new generation because most of his party is great. I was there. I was a part of the older generation for the party. And for sure, you have seen a lot of video. You know, there are roughly about 36 of a business leaders sitting down among the audience, give applause and celebrate the party at the age of average of 65 years old. Again, I'm not having any problem for people's age. I know most of them, probably 80% of those business leaders. As a matter of fact, in my past 25 to 30 years capital market experiences, I ever raise or sell most of their shares or do the fundraising. But why am I here? I'm part of the old economy. I'm a part of the old money. The reason, given more kind of confidence and the conviction, we need to support the new economy. Well, think about it 10 years from now. If anyone at a stage to celebrate Taiwan's future, still same group of people, I think I will feel very sad. I think that's the same thing we feel that it shouldn't be to happen. But again, there's some bright spot because starting from roughly about 5 years ago, as an old economy guy, from an old kind of capital market guy, for whatever reason, is long story short, I start embracing Taiwan's development, particularly for the new economy industry. Let me show you some number and show you some prediction I ever made. Yes, I say that. In 2021, I say that. In the next 10 years, roughly about 100 company, 100 listed company, with a founder from Taiwan, they will go public everywhere in the world, including Taiwan Stock Exchange and some other browsers. Yes, I also ever say that 20 out of this 100 company will become a valuation over $1 billion company. A lot of people challenging me, what about now? Let me show you now. Again, this is something I learned from Jensen Huang, right? I put 40 names out of there. You can take a picture, you can just count down each one of them. Yes, in the last 10 years, there are more than 40 new economy company already went public here in Taiwan. And most of them actually went public here in Taiwan at a different kind of stock exchanges or somewhere else. Some may argue, again, I will stay here for a little bit longer. Some may argue, say, look, you know what? Else, some of them looks like an old economy company. Let me tell you what, you don't know the story, you don't know the detail. When I say that a new economy companies, I'm talking about a lot of company, old economy company, going through their digital transformation experience, become a new economy companies. That's how I define it. I'm not playing the trick at all. A lot of company, you know them well, but check what they are going on now. They become a brand new economy company and more to come. That's why we are here to not just celebrate, but further embrace what's going to happen in the very near future. When I say near future, I'm talking about now and the next 10 years. Let me show you some statistics. Again, anyone know how big Taiwan GDP rank in the absolute term at a global basis? I know some of them know the answer. For the most of you guys, can you give me the number? Do you know what is the Taiwan GDP rank in the world? Any idea? Louder. 31st, 21st, yeah. You are damn right. Taiwan GDP. Oh, by the way, have you ever attended another presentation yesterday? Yes. The answer is Taiwan GDP ranked like a 21st in the world. But Taiwan's kind of capital market, total market capitalization, ranked number 10, which is neck to neck to Germany. It's a big deal. It's a big deal. And my very capable colleague, Zach, overturned the ratio the other round by using the so-called like a market cap over GDP ratio. Taiwan ranked number 1 in the world, 2.8 times. Again, I'm not trying to be analytical because some analysts will say that means Taiwan market is very expensive. No, because I'm talking to you guys, you as an audience of entrepreneur, you're supposed to be the bravest kind of people among the population. You try to pick up the whatever strengths you can take advantage, which means every dollar of GDP in Taiwan will turn out to be 2.8 times market cap. How amazing it is. And by the way, this is not because the TSMC gone up a lot. Yes, TSMC still account for roughly about 30% of our total market cap or index. But again, when TSMC move up, the index move up. But the rest of the stock, rest of the name listed in Taiwan also move up too. This is another detail that's going to another layer of the audience. For most of you guys, we try to focus more about a so-called new economy like. And Taiwan roughly about close to 2,000 public company. Again, 95% of this company being classified as a small cap company here in the world by the global definition, which means $2 billion US. So 94% represent Taiwan. And 94%, if you combine 94% of a small cap company plus new economy, that's how the pictures show you guys. Look at Taiwan. We tend to look at the valuation from a price to sales because some of the company not necessarily are profitable company. Taiwan in the category of a small cap plus new economy, their valuation based on the forward-looking valuation, they stand at the top of the world. This is not happening only today. In the last, as a matter of fact, 4 years, Taiwan always ranked number 1, if not number 2. The other country always quite close to Taiwan is Japan. Look what happened. Look what happened to the rest of the country. When we say, look, U.S. is the birth of, guess what? Unicorn. But most of the 2 billion below company trading at 1.8 times price to sales. Japan, 3.6 times. And look at their forward-looking kind of revenue growth, gross margin, and so on and so forth. Taiwan economy company may not necessarily stand up as the best growth driver or earning driver, but their company enjoy the highest margin, highest valuation in the world as a fact. Actually, at a second kind of column, you can see there are the company pretty much went public everywhere in the world. For those companies, you're probably familiar with that, like 91 apps, now still trading at a 7 times price to sales. Where at the same time, APR, which is a great company, by the way, trading in Japan at 3.9 times. Perfect, I will argue this is possibly the best kind of AI company, AI-based software company ever seen from Taiwan. Now trading at a 3.7 times. By the way, this is the number. This is based on like a public information, is pretty much based on the confidence vote from an investor. Plus, I have no bias because 90% of all founder or CEO are a good friend of mine. I'm just telling you nothing but the truth. Again, people kind of ask also, okay, Alice, is this because of Taiwan? Taiwan people love to take a risk. Taiwan try to convert their cash flow into the PE, and Taiwan investors are crazy. But let me tell you why I'm so confident Taiwan will be the future driver and a powerhouse for new economy. Again, from the very left-hand side, which demonstrate the top global economy, the new, we're using the same definition for the new economy, pretty much like a software and so on and so forth. But again, think about it. Taiwan ranked probably at the bottom of all top 20 global economy in terms of like the ratio, the new economy ratio over the total market cap, which comes down to the 0.6%. Well, think about it. When we say new economy, what are we in general referring to? People start deploying more digital kind of way to the economy. Taiwan is not too far away from the rest of the country. Taiwan coming late for sure. I totally admit that. We know that. But we're coming really quickly. Unless somebody argue Taiwan economy gonna stay, or Taiwan's kind of new economy penetration ratio, or so-called like a digital life experience ratio gonna stay where we are. And I tend to agree with you that ratio will stay at a 0.69, even not even lower. But I don't think that's a conclusion. If that's the case, with a very strong resources from a capital market, just make a guess. Let's just try to move 0.6% to say close to Japan, not even to Korea, which is a 4 or 5 times increase in the valuation already. So the number really telling you is, as a founder and as a CEO, for the new economy company, stop complaining. There's a lot of abundant capital waiting for you at the other side of a capital market. I know people always argue there's a lack of a growth capital for new company. I check that, right? But again, next page, I'm gonna show you another thing, which gives me a slight different kind of journey, how people can grow the company through public equity market to the unicorn. Again, this is based on the statistic. In the past 30 years, this is a capital market journey in the Taiwan Stock Exchange and some other browsers. At the median range, at the median, normally the company went public in Taiwan at the median market cap roughly about 100 to 200 million US. They call it 100 million. It normally took them like roughly about 9 years to turn to be like a 500 million US dollar market cap. Why 500 million? Statistically, 500 million stand for the median for all capital market cap here in Taiwan. And when you become like a 500 million kind of company, it took roughly about 4.5 to 5 years to become a $1 billion company. So what I suggest, if you are the smaller company, one of the better solution, you stay in Taiwan for public market support, raise money, and then continue growing to $1 billion. Again, what I suggest that the whole, including government funding and all of the PE growth type of fund, which we're supposed to reduce or improve the success rate, because only 14% of all of the newly listed company can really turn out to be $500 million US company. Because one of the arguments I can share with you is that Taiwan public equity market probably demonstrate the stringent disclosure information. We are the only market need to report, guess what? The monthly sales number. So think about it. If you become a $500 million company before go to IPO, would that be save you a lot of time? It took you another 4 to 5 years to become a $1 billion company. So it's a big question. I will leave to you all guys that we can talk about maybe after like a panel discussion. Again, this is our event. You are welcome to join our event. In the last 5 years, every year, no matter like a physical meeting in Hong Kong, Singapore, New York, or the virtual meeting, we pretty much host roughly about all economy, new economy company, roughly about close to 3,000 to 4,000 companies here. Again, that's not what I'm trying to brag. Based on those statistics, this is very proprietary, that show you the attention from the global investors about Taiwan new economy all the way up. They are increasing. So when somebody always complain, investor only care about TSMC, I will tell you, no. It's about you, whether you can speak up, whether you want to embrace the global capital market. The answer is you, because the numbers show, so long you love to show up, you want to speak up, even not because your language. Hey, what's the AI for, right? You can speak Mandarin, even Taiwanese. I'm not kidding. Some of the founders, they speak, for whatever reason, they speak Taiwanese, Hokkien. But again, nothing stopped them communicating themselves to the rest of the world. Again, it could be my last chart. New economy company is not so new in terms of development, because in the past 40 years, Taiwan ever quite successfully helped two very important kind of sector to prevail. One is semiconductor. The other one is more in the last 20 years. It's about healthcare. With the government support and the funding and the Taiwan kind of capital market, in general, you pretty much can argue, if we just simply apply for the same kind of growth rate, the CAGR, we make another prediction, right? In the next 10 years, every dollar you invest in a new economy company, I think is not exaggerating. People should expect 30% kind of a CAGR growth from new economy sector you invest. So why are we sitting here? I think at least, among the audience, the other half of them, you should go ahead to find your company, go ahead to find out smart money to fund your future growth. The other half of that, you should start, of course you keep on investing in your TSMC and NVIDIA. I wish you very luck, right? But at the same time, just say you keep 5% of your spare money to start investing in the, guess what, the new economy. You will become a very, very happy investor 10 years from now. Okay, this is where you can kind of join our event. You are welcome. I believe there's a lot of questions or challenging coming to my presentation. I'll be here. I'm happy to answer all kind of your question. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Alex, for your incredible intel on Taiwan's new economy. Now we will transform our stage to our panel discussion. Please give us a moment. First, let me introduce our moderator, Mr. Tony Lin. Tony is a producer for the news program Connected with Divya Gopalan, streaming on TaiwanPlus and YouTube. Connected features a dialogue format covering a range of startup topics. Let's welcome Tony to the stage. Thank you, Tony. Up next, Mr. Alex Lee, please come back to the stage again. Thank you very much. Ms. Rufen Chen, Industry Partner of Sustainable Impact Capital. Rufen is an experienced entrepreneur with a demonstrated history of working in the medical device, computer, and network security industries. Welcome, Rufen. Last but not least, we have Mr. Mark Lin, CEO of Rybit. Rybit is a leading B2B ESG fleet management platform for light electric vehicle. Founded in 2019, it's currently managing over 40,000 micromobility devices in over 50 cities across the world. Thank you, Mark. Please enjoy this in-depth conversation. The stage is yours. Enjoy.
Thanks, Charles. First of all, thank you to InnoVEX and Startup Island Taiwan for organizing this discussion. I'm delighted to be sitting here with this distinguished panel of guests. Our news program, Connected, on TaiwanPlus, introduced a startup focus that just last October, we covered tech, innovation, and business. TaiwanPlus, as some of you know, is Taiwan's global news and infotainment streaming platform service, launched 3 years ago. With Connected, we want to look at tomorrow's economy through today's businesses and today's business breakthroughs. So in a way, that's what we aim to do today with our guests in discussing Taiwan's new economy. I hope to have all our guests on our program at some point. But I should note, don't worry, there's no media filming this right now, so feel free to say anything and whatever you want. I'll now introduce our three guests so we can dive right in. Alex is the CEO of Quantum International Corp, better known as QIC. He founded QIC in 2012, and he's someone whom I would call a captain of the capital markets. Chen Rufen. Chen Rufen is an industry partner at Sustainable Impact Capital, or SIC. As an industry partner, she focuses on healthcare and health tech, and has advised several medical startups on strategy and commercialization. Mark Lin is the founder and CEO of Rybit, a leading B2B subscription platform for e-bikes. He founded the company in 2019. Rybit today has over 2 million users in more than 50 cities worldwide. And here in Taiwan, many of you might know it as Movo. Am I pronouncing that correctly? It's Rybit's e-bike sharing platform. To start off, Alex, it's one thing to talk about many of these topics, but it's another to see these topics highlighted in the numbers that you provided. I think it is enlightening for many of us who read the headlines, but don't necessarily see all the numbers behind them. So a key message I get from your presentation is that Taiwan is really punching above its weight, especially in the small cap market. Now, do you think we are experiencing a sort of renaissance in Taiwan in terms of its economic and market development? And where do you see Taiwan's unique advantages?
I'm not quite sure I can use renaissance. That sounds like a strong word. But I think that definitely Taiwan stay at it's a reflection point, so-called, right? With many, many reasons, right? But I guess most of the capital market resources and attention, I will argue, being paying too much on the hardware basis kind of company. Just for the record, roughly about 65 to 68% of the total market cap here in Taiwan, pretty much kind of allocating to those hardware-based companies, including TSMC and many other kind of EMS company. Exactly all the people sitting at a Jensen Huang's party the other day, right? But the thing is, there's one thing that can't be really overshadowed is a smaller company also growing, but obviously they are not really hit the most of a media kind of radar screen. I am doing nothing but just disclose all the second kind of pierce the onion to show you, yes, TSM is great, media tech is great, but also there's a lot of young, upcoming, new economy company get a lot of capital market attention. That's number one. That's where the numbers show. And second of all, where's my confidence from? I think this is pretty easy. Just because the 0.6% ratio, unless people stop believing Taiwan economy will keep on growing in the new economy way, i.e. more digital fashion way. Again, my argument is, what's the point people buying so many kind of an AI chip? What's that for? By using those accelerate kind of computing power to what? To improve the efficiency, improve the human life. And Taiwan got no difference from the rest of the world. We are catching up. So I will see more young company, because I don't have a precise number here, but I can tell you easily, I think for whoever people show every single number, at least in the next 12 to 18 months, I've seen more than 3 dozen this type of company really go for the IPO. So I've seen them, so I'm telling you from the fact, not purely based on my imagination or intellectual speculations.
Well, certainly the numbers cannot, the numbers tell the story. So, we'll come back to AI for sure, because, I think that's on top of everyone's mind. But Rufan, so your firm, SIC, you focus on the 17 UN Sustainable Development Goals. You look at startups that focus around social and sustainable impact. Do you see what role do you see in the economy, in the new economy, for sustainable impact startups? Do you see any of them, for example, in the 100 sort of projected and listed companies in a few years?
Let me further explain a little bit more. SIC is Sustainable Impact Capitals. We have been founded for less than 2 years. And in around 1.5 years, we have aggregated more than 100 angel investors who share the same value. And 2/3 of them are entrepreneurs. And so we share the same value that we live on the same globe. We want to do good things to contribute back to our society. That's why we focus on investing SDG startups. And people might wonder, how do you make money and contribute the economy by sustainability? But if you look at those 17 SDG goals defined by UN, there are huge problems. If you can aim at solving those huge problems, it is more likely to create unicorns as well. So let me take 2 examples of our portfolio companies. Although they are not healthcare, but I'm very fond of them. One is Package Plus, 配客嘉. They use B2B business model to provide reusable appliances such as cups, lunchbox, storage box, etc. And they are doing good. And they have induced more corporations to join doing the same active actions. And another one is 池绿国际, CCILU, Chiyu. It's very difficult to pronounce. Chiyu. That means liberate in Japanese. because they wanted to liberate the consumers and the producers from traditional confinements to produce likely a waste or toxic materials to our globe. So by reusing materials like coffee grounds, silicon wafer, and the PCB scraps to reproduction, they can kind of reduce the pollution and the waste management. And also they can increase economic value. So Chile actually is doing quite well, and there is no conflict between sustainability and the profitability. Because only in Taiwan, I just take one of their customers, for example. They are currently taking and process about 600 to 800 tons of coffee grounds from 2 major convenience store chains in Taiwan per month. So imagine how kind of impact that could be. And by the way, 75% of their annual revenue now coming from overseas countries, such as Japan and United States. So I'm very optimistic that investing in SDG is doing good to our society and environment, also doing good for ourselves, because they are growing and profitable, and we make money.
Thank you. Mark, your company, Rybit, I think it's a startup representation. Your company in many ways embodies exactly what Alex and Rufen have already been talking about, sustainability in the new economy. But at the same time, the bike industry has a long time legacy in Taiwan. In a sense, it's viewed as the old economy. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you look at re-innovating for the new economy?
Yeah, so for those who haven't heard of Rybit, we're not a crypto company, because I know there's a similar name out there also as Rybit. So basically, what Rybit does is we do B2B subscription for electric bikes or other light electric vehicles. So what we do is we work with Apple, Amazon, Google, these corporate customers. They have the ESG employee benefits. And we work with them and provide them with the leasing solutions of hardware and software, and we manage their fleet and also produce reports on ESG scores and also carbon credits to help them track the usage of the bikes. So we're probably be categorized in the so-called, maybe in Alex's category is the new economy. But for us, I think the dichotomy between old and new economy is not about reinventing the wheels. Right? So in the new economy, we're actually trying to leverage the existing supply chain in Taiwan, and we're trying to create the waves by being accessible to the market. Right? So we have access directly to the end customers, to the corporate customers. So we have probably more wave-making capability right now, so we can work with the suppliers in Taiwan, and by working with them, we go global together. So that's how I see the new economy working with the old economy. So one great example is Tesla, right? So it's undeniable that Tesla has, to a large extent, disrupted the entire automobile industry. But Tesla didn't reinvent the wheels, not entirely, right? So they work with the existing supply chain, but they have a different mindset, right? Whatever you call it, software-defined mindset, whatever you call it, they come up with a different mindset and redefine the landscape in the industry. But they leverage the foundation in the so-called traditional economy, and then together they go global, right? They go to the new economy and they create a healthy bubble, so there is so-called like social mobility in the traditional economy. Right? So that's how I see it. And that's what we're trying to do. We're working with the local supply chain here, and there's no other place better than Taiwan to set up a company with the hardware element. Right? Because if you think about it, within 2-hour drive in central Taiwan, Taichung, Changhua, you can have access to every single bike components and every single bike assembly company. And then you have the software talent here, you have the IoT smart module talent here, and the efficiency of the capital efficiency of setting up a hardware-related company in Taiwan is amazing. So that's how I see how we work together with the local economy here and trying to go global together.
Yeah, I think the new economy is not just about new companies coming up, not just about startups, but I think what I'm getting is it's as much about startups as it is about that transition from the old industry, re-innovating for the new economy. Alex, I remember seeing what you said 3 years ago about the 100 new economy companies being listed by 2031. At that time, I remember the market had around 80% manufacturing, but now you mentioned it's around 65 to 70. I mean, you know, that's just a number, but are we seeing that sort of shift? Some people say Taiwan missed the boat in terms of moving towards that software innovation. What more needs to be done, and you know, can we lead the AI wave?
Then we need to go into one more deeper layer of this audience, right? I guess just like most of people observation, you look at the top-down number, Taiwan probably remain the same as 10, 15 years ago, all hardware-driven, manufacturing-driven, right? I will only remind people, think about, like, say, 25, 30 years ago, say 25 years ago, because I'm old enough. I've done a lot of research. Let me think about a couple things. Think about TSMC 25 years ago. I promise you, you dare not to invest in TSMC 25 years ago, because this is the company never generate positive cash flow, with the ROE only 5%. But history, we learn something from history, right? If you think that the reason we celebrate, you know, there's a burst of $800 billion US company here in Taiwan, top 10 company in the world, you need to think about the process. What made TSMC as a TSMC today, right? TSMC very smartly use abundant capital market resource, right? Again, I was the first ever to issue $1 billion. I hope that was for TSMC, but I work for UMC when I run Credit Suisse here in Taiwan. And people think about that's an easy job? No. Nothing is easy. Try to convince global investors to tell people like, you know what, foundry is a good business model, trust me. But it overcome. So what my confidence really built on, if we believe the history gonna leave us, including Taiwan, to more user-friendly, more like a green, more sort of AI-based kind of economy, which no one will say no, right? We just need to cut into more to derive more capital resources into those newly set up kind of a company. Well, not to mention, the old company also evolve itself, right? My last point is also, this is the country, or this is the market, never short of a cash. We short of a smart capital. Because think about our ETF, they are buying tons of a high dividend yield company. Why company generate like a cash yield? Because they stop investing. So every single large, I would say top 100 company, they're sitting in a pile of a cash. Compared to 25, 30 years ago, TSMC cannot raise enough capital from Taiwan. So that's why they need to issue the ADR. Same thing for UMC. They issued like ADR in the 2021 and 2001 and 2002. We never short of that kind of cash. But we just need a right catalyst, convey the cash, become a smart capital into the right business. That's all I believe.
No, smart capital, it's something that, you know, it feels like a relatively new concept, but it really shouldn't be. It's also a new way of looking at how to fund companies nowadays. Rufan, your company, you talk about unicorns differently. You look at serving a billion people in terms of impact. Can you tell us a little bit more? And do you look at companies a little bit differently? Do you look at startups a little bit differently in terms of evaluating and assessing their sort of growth prospects?
Okay, becoming a unicorn is the dream of every founder, I think. And invested in unicorn is another dream for investors as well. However, unicorns are real in reality. So from our perspective, because most of our angels have been entrepreneurs, we know the hardship of starting up. And we wanted to do good things and make money at the same time. So we are looking more on impact unicorns. But don't take me wrong, I don't think there is no conflict. An impact unicorn can be a financial unicorn as well, if they are doing things right. So yes, we do. We are looking at startups differently. We want to look at, okay, let me put it this way. So from our perspective, impact unicorn, there is one difference from the other startups. Although the efforts to get to success are the same kind of effort, teamwork, right business model, etc. It takes the same thing to get to the success. But there is one thing very different, the why. They wanted to do something good to the globe, so that they choose to solve problems defined by SDG. So we share the same value. That's how we look at those startups that we are looking at. I hope that answers your question.
It sure does. Maybe you can look at Mark's company. You know, it complies in many different ways.
The next unicorn?
But so for Mark, you know, you in many ways you represent the world of sort of Taiwan's sort of emerging companies right now in the new economy. You know, on our program, we wanted to focus on startups. One of the reasons was visibility. Me personally, I felt like, you know, founders work so hard, and you know, usually startups don't have a lot of money in the budget for a lot of marketing. You know, Apple probably spends what, 65-70% of its revenue on. So. What, in your startup journey, what has been, you know, in the past 5 years, it was founded 5 years ago, right? So what has been sort of the biggest challenge? Has it been, is it marketing? Is it finding funding? Or is it overseas expansion? You're in 50 different cities all around the world.
Yeah, so I think going back to the original point of what I see, what's the difference between like new economy and old economy? I think to me is the wave-making capability. And the wave-making capability comes from capital, like technology and talent. Right? So I think these are the three like main challenges when we expand overseas. Right? So for Taiwanese startup, I think initially, in recent years, things have improved a lot, right? Thanks to Alex and also the entire capital markets talent here. But in the past, it has been a challenge for a lot of Taiwanese startups to raise funding, especially initial funding, right? So especially before you pass the death valley, like Series A or somewhere between Series A and Series B. But recently, thanks to the policy and thanks to Alex and the general capital markets, things have improved. But still, it's a challenge because without capital, it's hard to expand quickly, and sometimes speed is essence. So I think capital is one, and also talent. I think in Taiwan, there is undeniably a brain drain. A lot of the young talent go overseas because of access to larger markets and also better pay. But recently, we've seen actually a very surprising, or actually pleasantly surprised, an influx of the talent back to Taiwan, especially the talent that can help companies here go overseas, right? So a lot of people like pride themselves in the old days where our previous generation, they bring a suitcase and go globally, right? So 带着一卡皮箱走天下, right? So I think that's the talent that we need in expanding across different countries and different continents. So for example, like Rybit are currently in 50 cities around the world. And we're blessed to have a lot of Taiwanese talent who are willing to work across different time zones. It's almost like 3 time shifts, right? So we have like US market, a European market, and Taiwan market. It's almost like three shifts. And they're working very hard to handle all the global market like operations. And also, there is a challenge in working across different cultures, right? So Taiwanese talent working with European talent and also US talent, and how do you handle the subtle cultural difference? That's another challenge for global startups, global emerging startups like us.
Tony, may I just add one more point?
Yes, please.
Again, entrepreneurship or building up a company is not a party. It's not for everybody, right? Again, just like Ruben just say, unicorns are rare, right? But if I can just further elaborate, successful entrepreneur is also rare. So when we build up, when we get together, talk about all kind of a perspective, particular difficulty that all of us start up here in Taiwan, I would say you are no different from the rest of the world. Outside of TSMC 25 years ago, I can give you more example. Think about that. When this is Jensen Huang, he's confessed publicly. That was actually interview with a co-founder of Stripe last week. He confessed when he introduced the one most powerful kind of a software-based kind of system, Kudo. It took him like 10 years to try to convince people, but no one gave him a damn. Running the business is not an easy job. But again, what we are going here is doing things. Of course, we try to help. We try to build up the ecosystem. We try to help. But at the end of the day, unfortunately, only very few people can be successful. But at the same time, we want to create a culture because we don't know the odds. How many companies can be successful, become like a unicorn? The number just shown, even if you become a public company, only 14% of a newly listed company here in Taiwan. It can grow from 100 million to 500 million within 9 years' time. People look at the 9 years, but they also need to look at the ratio. The success ratio, only 14%. I will argue 14% is a pretty good ratio already, right? So in a way, it is yes, we need to build up the system to help a lot of entrepreneurs, but reality, I'm sorry, I'm a more cold-blooded and brutal people. You have to demonstrate growth. No one, not any two company, can enjoy the same valuation. The reason TSMC and whatever the great company, including Jensen Huang's company, enjoy such great valuation, guess what? Because they produce the best product in the world, and they keep on delivering and they're growing exponentially, right? If you don't, all of the founder, if you're really not ready to produce that kind of product, try harder. Don't complain the capital market. Smart capital is not there. Because I don't have too much time to explain the experiences. My experience already convinced me, so long you have a good product, you have a great market, you have a great plan, and you love to share and speak up, there's always money waiting for you. No matter it's foreign money, Taiwan's money, or guess what? My money. My check was always ready. But the thing is, show me the product. Show me your good business plan. I'm afraid I have to say so.
Show me the product. I like that.
Show me the product. I will show you the money.
Exactly. Yeah, so actually I want to
Yes,
echo
please.
what Alex just said. So I think one thing I observed in like working within the Taiwan like economy, like ecosystem is because we pride ourselves in being very solid, right? Very 实在. Right? So that's why like, sometimes people think like access to capital markets actually not, it's bubble, right? So they don't like capital markets because they think it's not 实在, right? So they want to do something, create a product that's very solid and then it speaks for itself. But like what Alex just mentioned is you need to have active communication with the capital markets. So like great investors like Rufen and also Alice can help you to go global. And so it's actually not bad to have a healthy bubble in the local economy, right? Because bubble means a dream, right? So it brings in more talent, more resources, both financial resource and also talent into the ecosystem so you can create a better future together. And also deep down, on a more higher level, a societal impact is you have a healthy bubble, you create social mobility, right? So you have a different generation of entrepreneurs who can make it's wealth creation, right? So after wealth creation, they can reinvest the money back into the system, and then it become a very positive cycle, right? And then so that's what exactly what Rufen
what we are doing.
what Rufen and also Alex are doing.
In new startups.
So you need a healthy bubble to stimulate the economy and also elevate what's really 实在 in the Taiwanese economy into the global stage. Yeah.
So really, your point about the bubble, I think it also reflects, it also echoes what we've been talking about, which is Taiwan's market punching above its weight in many ways. I have a ton more questions, and like I said, I hope to have all of you on our program at some point. But do we have a few minutes for a couple questions from the audience? Okay. Any questions?
中文也可以啦，哦，讲台语嘛也塞。
都行，都行。
你好，
你好。
讲中文可以吗 ？Alex
都可以
OK 吗？
都可以。
台语也可以。
好的，哦 ，OK。我刚好也是做自行车产业，然后因为我个人，我有一个问题，不是直接跟自行车产业有关的，我只是想问，有关不知道各位对于这个资本主义的一个看法，因为我个人有点感觉，就是有点感触，就是我们现在面临的一些环境的问题，以及就是说这个环境污染啊、资源上，的一些问题，我觉得好像某方这个 root cause 好像是跟资本主义的是有一个很直接的一个关系，所以我不知道各位4位专家对这个看法如何？因为刚好这个 Rufen 这边是投资这个 sustainability 跟应该是环保精神 startup 的这种公司，那我也尤其很想听听你觉得你投资的公司，因为也是资本主义的，在这个框架之下，当然是围绕环境的一个更好的一个未来去努力的公司。那你觉得它到某个程度，会不会因为资本主义的原因影响他们的发展跟他们运作，或者是说它的估值，或者是它以后有可能达到的这个 probability 跟它被看好的这个价值？会因为它本身的理念跟资本主义会有抵触吗？它会受到伤害吗？谢谢。
Very quickly, the question was about the cross-section of the capitalist ideals and sustainability, and whether there's any conflict or how that can sort of come together. So,
It's a question for me, right? I thought it's for Mark, but anyway, I don't want to compete with that. 我用国语回答好不好？我不觉得你的问题 ，again， 我们不是今天来讨论资本主义，我也不代表资本主义。你讲的问题是一个人类的是一个人类生存的题目。如果我们今天是投资人，或者是我要想在未来20年活下去的人，我只想请问一个问题：不管你讲的自行车，我们都要问一个问题：这个生意在10年后， 它还会不会存在？这是我们讲的 sustainability 的题目。它不是一个资本主义，它甚至不是一个投资的问题。人类面临很多很复杂的 climate change 各种不同的问题 ，right？ 其实我们今天所看到的新的经济，所谓 new economy， 其实我们都在解决这件事情。老经济它为什么被要求要做这么多的所谓的 ESG 的题目？是因为如果你有机会问任何一个投资人，所以他的 investment horizon 是10年以上的这些大型的 global PE fund， 他关心的第一件事情是说，这个公司在10年后它会不会存在？它会不会存在的理由不是说它生意会不会成功，是10年后它如果现在它不开始做对于节能减碳的事情。它10年后，不要说10年后，可能5年后它都不会存在，所以才会有您刚刚问的所谓资本主义的问题。But 我的 answer 很简单，这不是资本主义，这是人类生存跟永续的一个题目。我想如芬是常常在看永续公司的题目的人，不是因为它是一个政府叫我们做，也不是因为说这是一个很 fashion trendy 的 terminology， 因为它是事实存在的问题，它是严重的问题。所以任何做投资，除非说你今天是说当冲，你今天投，明天卖 ，Yeah, you don't need to care。对于我们很认真看一个 build up like a venture， 或是我要投一个公司10年后我才有知道它成果的，我第一个要看的题目绝对是永续的题目。希望他回答你的问题。
Yeah, I just like to ask last question regarding to the government structure. So since you talk about the new economy, so what kind of government structure can have this kind of visionary leadership and what we can improve in Taiwan?
Wow, it's a big question. Again, is the question only for me or for the other two presenters? I can share my again. I'm not running president. Okay, I'm not going to run even a mayor or whatsoever. I seriously don't think it's got much to do with the government structure. And I hopefully say we got a representative for the National Development Fund, right? 国发基金, right? You go ahead and check the list. For all 30 years, they only done one thing right, is invest in the TSMC. That'll be good enough, right? As a government or as a regulator or whatsoever, what they need to do just support the system to improve the success rate, right? I think if there's any government, again, you think about whatever happened in some other more Australian country like Russia, in China, they probably actually successfully built up more kind of a most innovative company in the world, right? So personally, again, I only represent my personal opinion. I don't think the government structure really represents too much. But again, at least for Taiwan government, I think they try very hard to support the ecosystem. Just take the spirit when they invest in TSMC 35 years ago and keep up that kind of spirit. I think some great company will be produced. I don't know what, maybe Mars company, maybe they are sitting among the audience, but I'm pretty confident. This is a possibility ratio, right? We try to improve the odds, try to improve the success rate. Again, I'm not pessimistic at all. I'm very confident.
Well, we certainly have a lot to look forward to. I think we are all out of time today. Yes, Rufin, just...
Can I talk a little bit about these two questions? For the first one, I think it is really indeed a very complicated problem. So it's easy to blame capitalism as an excuse. But I think the mechanism is neutral. It depends on how you use it. So that's why we are looking at SDG goals. I don't know how many of you know that if we don't stop the way the climate change is changing and the temperature is increasing, by 2050, some Pacific islands like Tonga, Fiji will disappear. They will be under sea level. And the Taipei Basin will have, you can see sea waters within Taipei Basin. So that's why we want to invest in SDG, want to do good things and make money so we can live on as well. And for the second question, because I'm working in the star ecosystems, and we have observed that, although we are doing angel investment, but we have observed that there is a huge funding gap, which I think the government may assist. I do recommend that if there is any government officials here, using policy to encourage more capitals to pour into a certain area. It is often called the Star or Death Valley. That's probably in between angel round and B round. So for a startup to succeed, they need a series of funding rounds from seed, angel, A, B, C, D, and etc. So in between angel and the B round, we have observed a huge gap. So we hope that like the national development funding or other policy, they can encourage more capital to assist in this area.
Thank you, Rufan. So it's about smart, fast, and sustainable growth. I think that it should be the sort of new mantra for the new economy. Thank you very much to all our guests. I know we have a lot more to talk about, and perhaps the audience will approach you as well afterwards. Thanks again so much, and we'll conclude the session here.
Thank you, Tony, Alex, Rufan, and Mark. Let's give them a round of applause. Thank you, everyone. Okay, 好 ，Vita。